Here we go, everybody. Let's go, baby. I cannot believe that this day is finally here. I cannot believe that we are here and we are just about ready to talk about this Phillies playoff team. How does that feel, man? This Phillies playoff team. That is incredible. Hopefully, my audio is all right. I see that I'm going in the red a lot, and I don't like that. Is this better? I think that that's a lot better. All right. Unfortunately, I cannot hear myself. Wahoo! Let's go! Yes, sir. All right, Houston and Dave, can you hear me loud and clear, or is it soft? Let me know, because I noticed I was really peaking a lot and going into the red, and that doesn't make me happy. But here we go. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notification bell icons too, so that way you know when I upload. All right, we got a lot of Phillies games coming up. Hopefully they have a big run in this playoffs. We do Eagles football. We do 76ers basketball, even though we talked about that team today and that whole garbage, and we won't even talk about that anymore because it's not even worth our breath, guys. And we also do Flyers hockey as well. But, man, I cannot wait until tomorrow. Are you kidding me? It cannot come sooner rather than later. Oh, my gosh. In 1 hour and 1 minute at this time of this recording, it is 7:07 p.m. Eastern Time. I am so happy that we are going to be getting playoff baseball. And not only that, but this year, we also get to watch the NL Wild Card Series at a normal time, prime time. We get the prime time games. We don't have the 3 o'clock or the 2:30 or the 1 o'clock games like we did last year. Come on, I don't like those. That sucks. We have 8 o'clock prime time, best of 3 series. Let's go. I cannot wait. Now, let's talk about this matchup because there's a lot of things to dissect here, and I think that number one, we got to talk about just the Miami Marlins in general. The thing that makes a best of 3 series so interesting to me is that anything can happen. You can say that the Phillies were the better team last year compared to the Cardinals. Okay? I don't know if the Phillies were better than the Braves last year. I don't think the Phillies were better than the Astros last year. This baseball team has a lot of expectations in this series. They are the favorites to win, and they should be the favorites to win. But because it is a best of 3, you got to put your foot on the gas pedal. Get this done in 2 games. Get this done in 2. Okay? Please and thank you. Get this done in 2 games. I'm hoping that you'll be able to do that. I like the matchup for tomorrow with Zach Wheeler going out there against Jesus Luzardo. I feel confident with my ace. I do. If he can go out there, give you 7 strong innings, and be a guy that's just dominant on the mound, be a Cy Young ace out there, and go toe-to-toe against Luzardo, I think that if you take Game 1, you should be able to win Game 2, and we feel so much better about it. We'll get into Aaron Nola, and we'll talk about that tomorrow after Game 1 is done. But in regards to this series, what do I want to see from this offense? I want to see an offense that looks hungry out there. I think that you're going to need some production from Trey Turner. You're going to need to see some small ball action. You're going to also have to see defensive gems because when it comes to playoff baseball, you got to make the tough plays. You got to make the nitty-gritty types of plays that keep you involved in the game. And there's been times this season where I've seen some incredible baseball from this team, but then I've seen some very, very sloppy baseball too. And I cannot have Trey Turner making errors. I cannot have Kyle Schwarber taking the field that much, especially in this series. You're going to need Harper to play over at first base. And Alec Bohm, even though he's been great this season defensively, you cannot have any sort of miscues whatsoever. And you got to be very smart on the bases as well. Because the one thing about this Marlins team, they are a very, very gritty team. Okay? If you make a mistake, they can capitalize. And I hate to say this, but they're not afraid of the Phillies. They're not. This team is playing with house money. This was not expected, even though some people tell me that it was expected for them to go to the playoffs. But I believe that this team just needs to keep their foot on the gas pedal, get a lot of offense, hit the long balls, but also make sure that they do the little things correctly. I want them to play smart on the bases. I don't want to see Bryce Harper trying to be too aggressive where it's to the point where he's not thinking and not being smart. I love aggressive Bryce Harper, but too aggressive, too sassy, not sassy, but too aggressive and too assertive Bryce Harper is not good either. So that is what I want to see in regards from this offense. It would be nice to see Nick Castellanos have a really good first day. Who do you think is going to homer in the first game? Comment down below. I want to see a Schwarber. I want to see a Bryce Harper home run. I wouldn't mind it if Alec Bohm gets you a home run. I actually would write that one down in the books too. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Okay, just imagine going to CBP tomorrow. It's 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time. First pitch is ready, and it's going to be underway. You're on primetime ESPN, and all of a sudden the lights are bright. It's Red October, and everybody's waving the rally towels. You see the crowd from last year in the playoff run that they had. You hear Dancing on My Own. Oh, my gosh, I have the juices pumped in me. I'm so excited. It's great. Oh, man. The weather's changing. It's Red October, and tomorrow cannot come any sooner. I think that JT, and this is where I wanted to go next. JT's had an up and down season, okay? The one hole that this lineup does have, when you just look at a microscope of things, JT at home, I don't know what it is, but just from an overall perspective, he has not been that good offensively at home. And even though he's been playing pretty good over his last week or so at home, I need him to have a good day tomorrow, especially. Defensively, I need him to be ready. I need him to be prepared. And I also don't want to see him swinging at bad pitches. Have a very disciplined plate approach whenever you're up at the plate. And don't make silly mistakes when swinging at bad pitches that are out of the strike zone. Okay? That's what this team needs. This team needs JT to have a good series. They do. That's what I truly do believe. But they have layers. And before we're able to focus on Atlanta, we have to take care of our business at home against this Miami team. The one thing that I notice about the Marlins is that not only do they have guys that have speed, but they also have guys that are not afraid to hit for power. And their bullpen certainly has a lot of question marks, but if you put the bat in their hands, okay, and it's a really close game, you don't want to make any simple mistakes when you're on the mound, especially when it comes to their meat of the lineup with Jorge Soler and Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Garrett Garrett Hampson and Josh Bell and all those types of guys. Okay? You don't want to leave pitches out over the middle of the plate. But you want to make sure that your offense is scoring runs, JT is producing at the plate, and there you have it. I think that is what you're going to need from this team, successfully speaking. Now, if Zach Wheeler, God forbid this happens, okay, but if Zach Wheeler does not have a good day at the office and he's getting rocked, the bullpen really has to be strong, and I'm curious as to how Rob is going to manage the bullpen, and I'm going to have a lot of eyes on that tomorrow too. Are we going to see Orion Kerkering? When's he going to pitch? Jose Alvarado, are you going to put him in the ninth inning, or is he your quote-unquote ninth inning guy where if it's like the seventh or the eighth inning and the meat of the order is coming up for the Marlins, are you going to use him in that situation? Are we going to see Sir Anthony Dominguez? When will we see Gregory Soto? Okay, those types of questions need to be addressed And the only thing that I will say about the bullpen is that it has to be managed correctly. Because when it comes to Red October, when it comes to October playoff baseball, you need a strong bullpen if you want to go far. Yes, you need offense, and yes, you need good quality starting pitching, but now that you have more flexibility because you're moving Lorenzen and you're moving another pitcher to the bullpen, and you have a middle reliever or somebody that can throw 3 to 4 innings, the back end of the bullpen has to be strong too. That's where the Phillies lost last year. Plus, the bats got cold as well. But you cannot take this Miami team for granted. They're a very gritty team. They're somebody that likes to crawl back in the game. They like to stay involved. You know, they're very pesty. That's the thing about them. I don't like them. They're pesty. They're annoying. Sometimes I'll see a bug like crawling over my scorecard here, okay? And then I'll see and then I try to swat it, and it's like it keeps flying away. Then I try to swat it again. It's like playing whack-a-mole. That annoys me, right? That's what the Miami Marlins are. They're a bug. They're a bug that's just trying to get into your way. And how do you manage to get them out? They're going to put up a fight. These games are going to be close. But how you produce when the game matters the most, I trust this team. I understand that they have a much better roster. But again, we're talking about baseball. We're talking about playoff baseball. We were the underdog last year against the Cardinals. And this time, the Marlins are the underdog this year against us. Just saying. I have to call it like it is. I'm not telling you that the Marlins are going to win this series. I'm just saying that we were all focused on Atlanta, and rightfully so. But in order for us to get to Atlanta, we cannot overlook our opponent right here. We need to be ready. And I'm hoping that this team is ready by tomorrow because they definitely should be. They got their rest. And, man, tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast, and I cannot wait. Cannot stop even talking about it either. I really can't. It is just unbelievable. This is my favorite time of the year. You got the pumpkin spice coffee. You got you know, at the start of you have that feeling of winter coming. The holidays are like just around the corner. You know, it's going to be great. You know, Halloween's coming up this month. It's awesome. It is really awesome, and it's great. But let's talk about Bryson Stott, okay, before I get to each and every one of your comments. Bryson Stott, I think, is going to have a really big series here, too. Nobody's really talking about how cold he's been, but I like what this guy is just made of. I trust him in the guts of the game. I trust him in the clutch situations. A guy that likes to foul off a lot of two-strike pitches. Man, that's awesome. And I think that they're definitely going to need that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alec Boehm comes up and has some really clutch at-bats. Let's talk about the bench, because the bench is a whole nother thing as well. When the lineups come out tomorrow, are we going to see, is Brandon Marsh going to get rest? Is Bryson Stott going to get rest if there's a lefty on the mound? I'm just saying, I know that Luzardo is who he is, but I think that the better question for me to say this, in this series, okay, let me rephrase that. If there's a lefty starting on the mound, okay, whether it's in this series or even in the next series, are we going to see the platooning of the lineup? I hope not, and I hope that we don't get that because, I want my big guns out there at all times. I want my big guns to play. I want them to hit. I want them to be on the diamond. Put Bryson Stott anywhere in this lineup, okay? Put Brandon Marsh anywhere in this lineup. I want to see Johan Rojas, maybe Christian Pache a couple of times. You might have to use him on the bench. This team does have depth, but I want Marsh and Stott playing at all times. I just do. I want my best guns out there. I really don't want to see Garrett Stubbs unless, God forbid, JT has an injury, then that's a whole nother story. But we need JT to be out there. We need JT to be playing his balls off. We need him to be doing really, really well behind the plate. We don't know who the third starter is going to be, and after Game 2, if it happens to go to a Game 3, of course we'll talk about that down the road. Again, I've had these conversations. I personally thought that I could go with Christopher Sanchez. That's who I would want in a Game 3 scenario. Or Ranger Suarez. I can go either or. I can understand if he goes with Ranger or Christopher. He's probably going to go with Ranger, just knowing him. And I think Sanchez is going to come out of the bullpen. But anyhow, this team has to take care of business. And it starts tomorrow. It all starts tomorrow. I want to see plate discipline. They need to put up gritty at-bats against Jesus Luzardo and make him work to throw pitches. Okay? If he's off in the beginning, you need to be patient at the plate. And if he's, on his game, then you got to foul off pitches. There has to be an approach. And of course, the fans are going to play a big impact in this as well. When the Phillies are giving you signs of life, this fan base is going to be rocking at Citizens Bank Park. And it is going to be absolutely special. So don't forget that you have the fans in there as well, because, yes, they do matter as well. They do. It's all important. You need the fans to be there, but you also have to give them something to cheer for, obviously. That's what it comes down to. But, yeah, just have a good plate discipline approach. Have the mindset and execute. Play the small ball. Steal bases. Don't make silly mistakes. And don't take this team for granted. Make them work. Show them what it's like to actually succeed in a playoff round. Because they're not there yet. They're not. So. All right. We'll take some of your calls. All right. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jason Joseph. This is Play by Play with JJ. Please come on here. Give your points if you want to come on and join the discussions. Okay, the link is down below. I saw that Darth Poo just pinned that right there. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. And I keep forgetting that I can't play your comments on this, but even though it's up here on Restream. All right, Phillies and Astros finished with the same records as Houston to Dave. Yes, sounds good, loud and clear. Eagles 4-0 and the Phillies in prime time. Yep, that's great. Here we go. What's up, Texas? We got the Rangers in the wild card. Yes, we do. JJ, my Rangers play the dude. That's cool, man. No Kirkland tomorrow. Okay, so Kingstone Collective says this: no Kirkland tomorrow, but instead they put in Sir Anthony and he gets rocked. That's I don't want that, man. I'm at this point. I am sticking with Orion over Sir Anthony because I cannot trust Sir Anthony Dominguez, and if it's a very close game, Rob's not going to do this, I don't think. I definitely don't think he's going to do this, but if it's a very close game and Sir Anthony has to come in, I trust Orion Kirkering 100% more than I do with Sir Anthony Dominguez, and here's why. That slider is absolutely filthy, okay? That's number one. And number two, the reason why is because, guess what? The Marlins don't have a lot of tape on him. So they don't really know what to expect. And I actually think that if you go to Orion Kirkering, okay, and if you have the lead and you want to use him in the 8th inning as your setup man, I think that that's great. I would personally do that because then Alvarado can come in for the 9th, and if you have a 2-run, a 3-run lead or something like that, I think that that would be a recipe for success. I do. I want to see Orion Kirkering pitch tomorrow if the situation is right. And what I mean by that is you have to have the lead and it has to be a setup situation. I don't want him closing the game, but I would want him in the setup position. Rob Darth Poo says this, and then Larry, I see you up here. All right, I'll get to you in just a second. Rob has managed the bullpen by the seat of his pants. This should be a well-defined game plan. Yes, he's had all the time in the world to prepare for this. We didn't know who the matchup was really going to be until Sunday, but, you had all day today to prepare. So what's your game plan going to be tomorrow? And what types of adjustments are you going to make in game 2? First, we got to get to tomorrow. But that's that. Kingstone says, I say use Kimbrel earlier for 1 or 2 innings and see how that does before we use him for a closer at all anymore. Again, it's situation, okay? We can do in-game analysis. We can play out all these certain scenarios, like the Phillies had a 4-3 lead. They lost it in the 6th inning. It's 5-4. Okay, Zach Wheeler was getting rocked. Who do you go with now? X's and O's in certain scenarios. We can play around with all those types of things, and I know that there's so many scenarios that are out there, but if we're just basing this off of a generic scenario, I would save Kimbrel for game 2. Or if the game goes to extra innings, I would put him in there. I would. You don't have to deal with a ghost runner anymore. That's not going to be a problem. The pitch clock, I think you get 5 more seconds, I want to say, on the pitch clock. So I think that that's in his favor as well because we know about how many pitch clock violations he's had this season. But yes. So I would say keep him out tomorrow. Put in Jeff Hoffman. Put in Orion Kerkering if you have to. I would put those 2 righties over Craig Kimbrel right now. Just for tomorrow's game, specifically. Okay? Hopefully Wheeler does well, because if Wheeler doesn't do well, then of course that changes everything. So, Kimbrel is a 2023 version of Mitch. That's an interesting one. Phillies are the most dangerous team in the NL playoffs. I agree with you on that, Houston to Dave. I really, really do. And then what else? What else did I say? Braves versus Phillies series is going to be a must-win TV. Yeah, man, I'm not there yet because I got to focus on the team that's out in front of me. I really do. I have to take this matchup as it is, game by game, inning by inning. I was overlooking this before, but now that we're actually here, I can't be overlooking it now. You understand me? The Lakers, and then we're going to get to Larry, I promise. Larry, I'm going to get to you. Thanks so much for your patience. The Lakers, okay? When they were playing in the bubble, okay, for those of you that are NBA fans and that watch basketball, if you remember, okay, the Clippers and the Lakers, like that was the whole talk during that entire 2019-2020 season. Both those teams meeting up in the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George going up against LeBron James and AD. And Kawhi and Paul George dominated that first game of the regular season. They played really well against each other in the bubble. And the Clippers had their eyes on LeBron and the Lakers as the Western Conference Finals matchup. And if you remember what happened, okay, the Lakers ended up winning in the second round of that playoff run, and the Clippers were up 3-1. They had a 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets, and because they overlooked the Lakers, and they had these 12-point, 14-point, 16, 18-point leads going into the fourth quarter, they collapsed. And that was because they took their opponent for granted. That can't happen here. It can't. Can't overlook these guys. All right, Larry, we're going to get to your call. If you guys want to come on here and come on and speak your mind, talk about tomorrow, let's go, man. All right, let's speak to the people. Let's get to the people on here. All right, Larry, what's going on? You're on the Phillies Marlins preview podcast with JJ.
Hey, JJ, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, my guy. What's up?
Oh, great. It's the eternal pessimist here, but I thought when we got to the end of the season, I'd be raining on everybody's parade and throwing a damper on things, going, don't get too excited. There's, this guy and this happened and everything. And I'm surprised I'm not. I mean, this team is playing their best ball of the season. They're like 20 games over 500. This is, the best case scenario we can have for the 23 Phillies. So I'm gonna enjoy it, and I think they're gonna take the series, and I'm optimistic for this team, for a change.
That's
I
interesting. Sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm just there's all kinds of little nitpicks and stuff, but they little things have come up here and there. Kimbrel blows a save, or whatever. Sir Anthony's not looking good, but other people have come through and things have worked out. They didn't have a bad September, which they had last year, and they traditionally kind of have. And I sort of expected them to come back to the pack and maybe be in danger of losing the top wild card spot with a poor September. None of that happened. The offense has just been rolling since August, since the beginning of August, 2 months. Pitching hasn't been perfect, but the offense has been just unstoppable. So I think something's going to come through. We're going to get a good start from Nola, or Wheeler is going to be lights out. Some of the bullpen guys are going to have really good runs here. I feel like something's going to happen and it's going to work out. And I'm usually, me, I'm usually not like that. I'm like, oh no, here it comes.
This scares me. I'm not gonna lie. This actually scares me because this is not like you. And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because I personally am a little bit on the fence just about this series, just because it's a best of 3, and I saw what happened last year to the Cardinals, and I saw that the Phillies were not the favorite last year, nor did they have the right to be the favorite in that series, but they controlled their own destiny from there. I just don't want them to get ahead of themselves. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't want them to overlook this Marlins team. And it's the Marlins, like a team that has really given us problems over the years, and they're not afraid of us. Like, that's where I am. I definitely believe that we can absolutely win this series, and we by far should win this series. We just cannot take them for granted and just, leave out pitches over the middle of the plate and just those types of things and make errors. Can't do those little things.
Yeah, it scares me a little too that I'm optimistic about this, and it surprises me a little. But I was thinking of that. I was thinking, well, I'd probably rather have any of the other teams, Diamondbacks, Cubs, Reds, anybody but the Marlins, just because of the history with them,
right,
and everything. But the thing that I thought about is that we're at home. That's
right.
the deciding factor to me. The big thing is that we've got the best home field advantage in baseball, and the Phillies faithful are going to be out there in force. And if they fall behind, if things aren't looking great in game one, they're gonna roar. They're gonna let that team know that they're behind them, and they're just waiting for the comeback. They could be game 3, and they could be down in the ninth, down to the last strike, and that crowd is going to be there, and they're going to show up. And we know how resilient the Phillies have been all season.
Right.
And if they come out and lay an egg in game 1 or something, I'm still not that worried, because how often do you see it in the regular season? 2-1 game, or 3-1, 4-0. They don't score. The offense doesn't show up, and you think, oh no, they're in a slump. And the next day they get 13 runs.
Yeah.
It just and that's the way they've been all year, and I think they can. I think they can be resilient in this series. A short series, so you got to worry about it a little. Losing one game is a big deal in this short a series.
Correct.
And anything can happen.
Right.
But I feel good about them, and I'm usually not like that, so I'm just gonna enjoy. I'm gonna enjoy that. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy that feeling, and I'm gonna feel like I'm there in the stands with them. Whatever's happening, they give up runs early or they fall behind or whatever. I'm gonna feel like I'm in that crowd that's just roaring. It's just telling them, "Hey, we got your back. We're here. Do your thing."
Absolutely, man. Thanks so much for coming on here, dude. I really do appreciate it. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow night. I cannot wait to be doing our pregame ceremonies tomorrow night. There's some really cool things coming up, and I'm probably not going to get a lot of sleep tonight. So I'm excited, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, man?
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. All righty. Have a good night, man. All right, let's get to some of your comments before we get on out of here. So Kingstone, going back to his comment, just about the whole Orion stuff, He says, I hear you. Same. Orion looks really good. Trust him over Sir Anthony for sure. That slider looks great. It doesn't even just look great. It looks lethal. Like, it's not just a great slider. This slider dips like nothing I've ever seen before in my entire life. It's like one of the best looking sliders I've ever seen, especially from a guy that just comes up naturally in September and is added to a team that's competing to go really far into the playoffs, and yet he's just an added weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody anticipated that. That changes the whole entire ceiling of this bullpen. Like, my gosh, adds another layer to it. And I'm all here for it. He's got more to prove than Sir Anthony, that's for sure. You should not be trying out spots in the playoffs, says Darth Pooh. I'm with you, but then I raised this question to you, Darth Pooh. When you watched Rob Thompson last year manage in the playoffs, right? Jose Alvarado wasn't always coming in for that wasn't coming in for the actual ninth inning. It was more about matchups, okay? It was more about facing the meat of the order, and that was the quote-unquote ninth inning for him. So, define spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at it, because the game has changed a lot nowadays, and it's more analytical rather than it is, textbook, like, just basic eye test. Even though I'm with you that I want to go with my best pitcher in the ninth inning, but I also, common sense-wise, I want my best pitcher to be pitching against the meat of the order when the game's on the line. So, that's how I look at that question. No more Ghost Runner? I didn't even notice. Yes, man. 13 games this season. Marlins took it to us. They're 7-6. Let's hit the like button, guys. Giants fan 56 is here. Shout out to Linda. Oh, man, Linda's great. RC on Hoops, man. No profanity in the chat, please. They gave us a problem this year. Yeah, dude. You can't take this team for granted. Welcome, Daniel. Daniel's here. Good luck to the Phillies tomorrow. Darth Pooh says no issues with the quote-unquote matchups, but I don't think we should see if Kimbrel works in the 7th and in the 8th. Yeah, no, like, I'm with you on that. But I personally don't want to have to pitch Greg Kimbrel tomorrow, and maybe I'm being a little bit nitpicky here, but if it's a blowout, right? If it's like an 8-2 blowout, I want Kimbrel pitching in that sort of a situation tomorrow. I'm okay with that, because I would rather save Alvarado, Kerkering, and Hoffman for more stressful situations. You know? It's just the way I look at it. I want to put Soto, Strahm, or Kimbrel in those spots. Or even Lorenzen. So. All right, Houston says good luck to the game to them tomorrow. You want the best case scenario? Yes, I want the best case scenario so that Kimbrel, if he does come in to pitch, it's not stressful. And I love Craig. I trust Craig Kimbrel. It's not that. It's just that I don't want to have to use him unless I have to. As weird as that sounds. All right. I think that we've harped up on this a lot. And again, tomorrow we're going to be going live. We're starting the cast at 7:30, man. We're going to be doing some PA announcing of the lineups. We're going to have a pre-recorded version of the anthem. We're going to, we're going to make this into like a whole show. And this is how it's going to be until the playoffs are done. The production's going to be crazy. And it's going to, the thumbnails are going to look different. I'm curious to see how you guys like the thumbnail once I post it tonight. It's going to be fun. And we have some new music. We have some new time music, Weight Watch music, and some scoreboards and all that sort of stuff. So, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all so much for coming on in here. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you all so much. I'll catch you on the next one. My cousin, she just texted me. Shout out to my cousin, Sarah. She's the best. Because, she'll text me every once in a while, and she'll be like, yo, Jay, Why is why isn't Garrett Stubbs coming off the bench tonight, or just like stuff like that. It is awesome. I love being able to talk sports with her and to be able to talk sports with other people. It's great. It's awesome. All right, see you tomorrow. I'm done babbling. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.